BMG, it was a band called Carmen Gray, and then after that band disbanded, the Impersonators came into being, and that's a duo. That's basically Antti Audio and me, and our producer Janne Saksa. There's a difficult Finnish name for you. But yeah, this is basically we decided to take a short break with the Impersonators for a few months or 6 months, because the next single is not going to be released. I think it's scheduled for late September or mid-September, and so, but I write and I record, and that's what I do. I love doing it. I don't need a break from that. I need a break from everything else in life. And so when Jan and Antti sort of decided that, after Cloud9, we'll do this and that, and because we can afford it now, because the next single was recorded already, Rodeo's ready, it's just waiting to be released. I thought, I wanted to do something on my own for quite a while, and maybe this is now a good chance to do it while the Impersonators are taking a short break. And so that's really how that came about. The Impersonators are that's the main thing. It's going to continue in September, but I kind of like how I did Working Class Voodoo, and then there'll be another Tom Tika and the Missing Hubcaps release in July. And so being a solo artist is not something that I'm intending to. It's not going to become my main thing, but it is kind of nice to do that when the Impersonators are not active. Simply because I love making music. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I miss recording when I'm not doing it. I miss writing if I'm not doing it, so forth. And so yeah, to answer your question, this is sort of a new thing for me.
Okay, but you're thinking it'll be like a random new thing, or do you think you'll keep moving forward with a solo act?
Well, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna keep at it. Just sort of I'm gonna do that in tandem with the Impersonators, because I kind of like, I love working with Antti and Janne, and there's no question of that. And I think what we're doing with the Impersonators works beautifully. But it's a three-way partnership, and so I got a lot of songs that I've written over the years that were not quite right for the Impersonators, and before that, perhaps certain songs were not quite right for Carmen Gray. And so I got a top drawer here filled with songs, and the Missing Hubcaps thing is sort of it's a nice outlet for them, because some of them I like a lot, and so I think the time is ready for me to start putting those songs out as well as a solo artist. I wasn't really sure if I was ever going to get back to it, but I'm really happy with the way the Working Class Voodoo EP turned out. So and I'm particularly happy with the reviews it got. So basically got basically very encouraging ones, and if not downright beautiful, wonderful, and praising. So definitely solidified my my decision to go back to that outfit.
Okay, neat. How do you find the rest of your band, like the Impersonators? Like, how did that come about?
Well, Antti and I just randomly met at the at the University of Helsinki, and like I said, Carmen Gray was still happening when we met. So I mean, we just became friends. He's a music fanatic. I'm a music fanatic. We swapped records, and later on, then maybe 5-7 years down the road, Carmen Gray was no longer, and then just out of the blue, Antti sent me a set of lyrics titled "Ghost Town Radio," and I thought it was a very cool rock lyric. And I wrote a melody to that, and that's really how the impersonator started. And this was maybe, I want to say 7 years ago. And we really haven't stopped since. but I mean, it started as a project in my living room. I remember it was actually quite a few exciting memories. I had just when the impersonator started, I had just gotten divorced. I mean, that's not the nice part of the memory, but and anybody who's ever gone through a divorce knows it's incredibly difficult. And I don't recommend that to anyone, by the way, if there are not serious problems. But people will do what they will do, and heart wants what heart wants, and I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, so because I had the nights off, there was nobody to hang out with. The wife had left, and well, after I put my kids to bed, I had all the recording, I took out all the recording equipment, drums, keyboards, and I set them up in the living room. And every night I'd start recording, and at first it was just demos, and Antti and I weren't really even dreaming that the impersonators would ever get a recording contract. But of course, it got better and better. I got better and better, played all the instruments. There was a steep learning curve, by the way. And I think once we had gotten good enough, we got signed by the FBP Music Group in based out of Frankfurt, Germany, and then started making records. And before we knew it, or before I knew it, I was back in the game. Songs were playing on the radio, and we're getting good reviews, and we were getting covered by larger and larger blogs and online magazines. And once you get a little bit, you want more of that. And that's basically how the impersonators just really became a professional act almost by accident. And that's basically the road we're traveling today, except now we're in a break and Tom Tika and the Missing Hubcaps are on. But I guess basically I'm getting sidetracked here, but that's how the impersonators happened. That's how I met Antti, but it was a gradual process of becoming a duo, or a real band, because we were just messing around with music, and lyrics. It was never going to happen. I never thought that we'd ever cut a record, or that we'd get to any chart, or for example, that the Working Class Voodoo, although it's a Hubcaps record, that it would be on British iTunes charts in top 100. Never even dreamed that would happen, even though because Carmen Gray recorded for large labels. I always associated success like that with large labels. So I never really thought any of this would happen. With the impersonators and the Hubcaps really exist only as labors of love, just because I love music. But it's great to get recognition. And one of the most beautiful things about it is that then you're motivated to do more.
Right. Gives you another drive to do some more things.
Yeah, I guess with especially with the Hubcaps, I guess people might have listened to it and hated it and give me bad. They could have given me bad reviews, which I would have buried the project. I was like, would have probably said that let's forget about they ever existed. Now let's get back to the impersonators. But I mean, the cool thing about it was that I poured my heart into this EP, and it resonated. And there's a few more songs that I've actually recorded over the years that haven't been released. And so that's what the July release will be all about.
Oh, so you guys are like a good accident.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Very fortunate accident. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. I love when that happens. So now what's releasing in July? That's the solo, if I'm tracking everything right.
That's the solo stuff. Yeah. And then the Impersonators' next single is going to come out in September.
Nice. Look at that. Good accidents. You've reached another element of being a solo act. That's pretty cool. Now, do any of your children play, sing? Are they in that creative light?
They don't. And my eldest son has basically, he's sort of quasi interested in music, and he dabbles with the guitar. But I think that I think I've played music. I mean, my eldest son said that when it obviously had a different effect on him, because my dad was playing records all the time, and I wanted to get into that, but he says that I've played all the Beatles albums, for example. He knows them by heart. I played them so many times over and over again, and I guess he's gotten like too much of a good thing, and you don't want anything to do with it. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that maybe I suffocated my kids with too much rock and roll, but I guess the funny part is that my eldest son listens to music, and he listens to actually music that I consider to be very good music, but the other ones don't. I don't think that they even listen. And the world's changed so much. Everybody's just idolizing these YouTubers, and the game's changed completely. And they make records too, by the way. It's weird. I don't even try to understand what's happening these days. I probably get a panic attack. I had to breathe into a bag. I think it's that's the thing about each new generation. They have their own thing. For me, it was the Beatles and Hard Day's Night, and my kids come to me and say that do you know who Logan Paul is? And I'm like, yeah, you said last week he's a very, very famous YouTuber. But I mean, that's their life. They watch these YouTube clips, and some of them are funny, because I'm forced obviously to, Dad, I can show you this, right? And I do actually, I do like some of the stuff that they even record. It's not my music, but I can see how somebody might find it very, very cool. But my kids and the way the world's changed, for some reason they're not into music. I wish they were, but I also know that music is something you can't force anybody into. It's got to come from within, and maybe one day it will, maybe it won't. They're into sports and stuff, and I try to stand there by the hockey rink and sort of root them on. But hey, like I said once before in this interview, different strokes for different folks.
Yes. So with these new launches, releases coming out, are there any specific venues you're hoping to go and perform at?
Well, we've been actually, the Impersonators have been invited to play a few festivals in the UK and some pretty cool places, including the Cavern Club in Liverpool in the fall. But now with the coronavirus situation, I have no idea if any of that's going to pan out. I mean, I'm hoping it will, but yet at the same time, right now, as the rest of the world knows, everything's on hold. We don't know at all what's going to happen in the fall. And so, but let me put it to you like this: if what was planned before the lockdown, if it happens and I'm still invited, I'm gonna hop on a plane and go. But I don't want to give the impression that I'm not the one making the final decision. But if the invitation stands and the plans pan out, I'm definitely going. But I mean, that's kind of exciting. I'd love to play British venues. It'd be fun. But we'll see if that ever becomes reality.
Have you played your music out here in the States?
No, I haven't actually. Small crowds, but no, not like, because in obviously played professional venues in Scandinavia and Northern Europe and so forth. So not in the States. That'd be wonderful as well to experience that. But there's a bit of a distance between the two countries. So hence going to England, it's the obvious destination for English speaking music. But as would the United States be, except that it's really, really far away. But I mean, like I said, the same thing.